Have you ever found a drawing or maybe an essay, even a science project you did many years ago and thought to yourself, dang, I was so proud of myself for doing this, but this is... Today I'm attempting to fix my first ever sculpture as best as I can, using the wealth of experience I now have. Let's start with the arms, which are too one-dimensional. To make the arms actually look like arms, add the muscles that are not prominent. I don't know the name of the forearm muscle, so I dug up my anatomy book from my uni days. Next time someone asks me what I do in my free time, I can tell them that I'm training my extensor carpi radialis longus by making clay models. The deltoid muscle can't really be changed because of the clothing covering it, so work on the bicep and triceps. I'm not very happy with the outer dress, so remove it to make it easier to modify the other arm. Still looks like shit. The character in mine wears a wrist guard, so I made that as well. Bear in mind that the weapon has to be able to go through the hand. Okay, now that the arms are done, let's move downwards to the legs. The character wears knee-high boots, and whoever did this did not blend the top part of the boots to the lower legs. Such a noob. Create a smooth transition from the elevated surface to the leg. The goal is so that when I paint over it, I can pretend like nothing happened. I added more details to the feet so they look more like actual heels. Small pieces like this don't stick well, so I use clay adhesive for that. This bigger piece should be able to stick without the adhesive. I cleaned the surfaces with alcohol before baking in the oven. After that, I used my brand new airbrush to paint the parts that require skin tone. Unfortunately, after baking, the air dry clay cracked a bit. I did read that air dry clay is not meant to be big, so... I hand painted the lower legs as the cape will make it hard to paint them later. Starting from here onwards, everything that can go wrong went wrong. I spent a whole day making the cape and was pretty satisfied with it. Okay, the problem now is that the MDF base I've been using as a base can't be put in the oven, so I have to try to find another way to act as the base. Okay, I think I kind of have a solution now, which is I cut this metal wire from this paper clip over here, and that will allow me to put the figure on to the stand that I made previously. So this stand has some holes cut out that will allow me to use these wire pieces to basically hold up the cape. Sounds great, right? Now I just have to bake it in the oven and hope everything will be okay, right? Halfway through baking, the figurine fell on its left side and broke my cape and my sanity. Not only that, but the left arm landed on this metal bar that's probably more than 150 degrees Celsius, and this left burn marks on the upper arms and whatever was left of the cape. There's nothing I can do but to restart on the cape. This time round, I used red clay so I can avoid painting on the underside, which is always a pain. I made the pattern under the cape by stamping the clay with a custom clay stamp by precariously arranging clay noodles onto a round base. Now that the cape is redone, I added the strap that runs from the top all the way to the bottom of the cape. Then I also took the opportunity to add creases to the dress. Clothes always crease and worn, and I'll give you $100 if you can manage to get all the creases out of the t-shirt you're wearing now. Now that the body is done, start sculpting the head. After this comment on my previous video, I decided to spend more effort than usual into making the head while being clear-headed on what I'm trying to make. In fact, for this figure alone, I've accumulated a total head count of 4, including the one I'm making right now. Earrings are difficult to make at this scale, so I made some that are totally not accurate, but good enough. To fasten the earrings to the ear, I wind some wire around a drill bit to form a ring, which I can then attach to the ear. After painting the face with the power of editing, I started on the signature long locks of hair on the side of her face. To add structural integrity to the hair, I coiled a long strand of clay around aluminum wire like a telephone wire and repeated the whole process until I have 4 strands. After making the base hair, work on the front bangs. Okay, let's continue. The hair looks very glossy now, but the surface will become matte after baking in the oven. I have no idea if this is possible in real life, but Yor has 3 braids of hair running from one side to the other, so let's work on that. Braiding clay is the same as braiding your hair, except that your hair doesn't stick. If you're wondering why I know how to braid hair, no I don't. Nowadays, you can learn so many things on YouTube. Now I can add another skill to my resume of useless skills. For the hairband, put on a thin strip, then add the 2 spikes on each side. Ooh. You thought I was going to drop it again, right? I made the flower decal by adding the petals individually from the outer circumference to the inner. Now the figure is still missing a neck, but I didn't want to risk baking it in the oven again, so I used the original clay to make the neck. Remember the arm got literally burned in the oven earlier? I tried my best to flatten the surface with a Dremel. And after some finishing touches, it's time to show the final shots. I probably missed the hype as Spy Family Season 2 just ended, but I'm mainly doing this as a hobby, so it doesn't really matter. I feel that I went slightly overboard for the lower limbs, but I'm quite happy with the rest of the sculpture. This is Clay to Treasure, and I'll be back with another video.